Welcome back to another edition of Grizzly Bites. I'm joined by Athletic Director Jeff Konya. Happy New Year, first of all, Jeff.
Yeah, happy 2015.
Yeah. And as we start this Grizz Bites, there's been some new legislation in the NCAA. Talk a little bit about, a lot of people are talking about the cost of attendance and things like that, and maybe how it might affect Oakland University.
Sure, I mean, that's a good point. I think a lot of people in the nation are kind of talking about the ramifications of the last convention and the Power 5 conferences doing some autonomy and starting with the cost of attendance as the new financial aid model and what the response is going to be from mid-major conferences like the Horizon League. What I can tell you is that we've had conversations leading up to the NCAA convention as an executive committee and executive council. The ADs are well abreast of kind of what the ramifications are. And since the legislation got passed, there's been continued conversation. But before we make any definitive plans of if we're going to move in the direction of offering cost of attendance, there's also some issues that have to be vetted out. There's gender equity considerations. There are things like head count sports versus equivalency sports and what's that going to be valued at. And then, just the cost of attendance model, there's discrepancies in every school. The financial aid office, central financial aid office at each university or college determines what the cost of attendance is. And so for like the Horizon League, the spread between the schools and what the cost of attendance is, the other miscellaneous items that you need to pay for in order to come to Oakland University and obtain your degree. So it's everything like transportation and insurance and things that aren't the typical room, board, books, fees. That go into what a normal scholarship and those offerings are. So the spread in the Horizon League is everywhere from like I think a low end at $1,000 up to like $5,000. So how does that, what's the equity there? And basically, if you think intuitively, it would cost more to go to school in New York City than it would in Nebraska. But when that gets vetted through the recruiting process and you have a full scholarship and you could make $5,000 going to New York City or $1,000, as an example, going to Nebraska, is that going to play into the recruiting wars? Is the cash going to be a difference maker? So a lot of philosophical discussions to kind of unwind.
Yeah, it's just the league, the NCAA kind of threw it out there and the autonomy came across, and now they're trying to figure out how it all plays out through the landscape of the country. So stay tuned for more information on that. Great fall semester from the student athletes here at Oakland University. One of the record GPAs they've had, 3.21. Talk about that effort that the academic unit has done here at Oakland University for the athletic department.
Yeah, I mean, this is the student part of the student athlete, and Oakland University student athletes do a great job in the classroom. I've quite honestly never been around a university athletic program that has a 3.21 overall grade point average for its breadth of student athlete population. That said, in comparison, I think with other campus organizations and clubs, I think we sit second behind the Honors College with the highest GPA overall, and I think that's a testament to getting rid of that dumb jock kind of moniker that's out there.
That you and I had as student athletes.
Yeah. Well, we weren't at the 3.2 level.
No.
But our student athletes do a phenomenal job, and we do support through our staff. I think Holly and Evan do a great job in kind of leading the academic charge, if you will. And the student athletes really want to excel, and they do a phenomenal job with their studies. And we have a very diverse student athlete. I mean, we have folks in the nursing school and engineering and business, and so we don't cluster a lot of our athletes like some of the other university programs do. And so it's a very diverse student athlete, and they have a lot of academic interests, and obviously it's a huge part of what we do.
And the nice thing is the coaches really get involved too and take charge and take ownership of that. And to lead the Horizon League in every semester that Oakland's been in the Horizon League is quite an accomplishment.
Yeah, I think you're talking in terms of academic award winners through the conference distribution of their conference awards, and obviously that's a testament to the high quality. I mean, when you're sitting with a 3.21, you're going to have great success stories. And when you combine that with the athletic prowess that we showed with 2 fall championships and what swimming did last spring, combine those 2 efforts and you are going to take home some hardware.
Yeah, that's great. And moving on to one of the big things you kind of looked at when you got here to Oakland University is game experience and fan experience, and being transparent with the fans and starting, on the message board and ask the Oakland AD.
Sure. Yep.
Talk a little bit about that and where you see the fan experience right now and maybe where it's going to get to when it's all said and done.
Well, I think there's a little patience involved. I think we took the feedback from our user groups, the student groups, some of our fans and boosters and tried to hear what they were saying and put forward a kind of a tweaked game experience that hopefully was an enhancement. And we are kind of in progress, so to speak, in terms of putting everything together. But things like the dancing with the flash mob, and then the use of the video board, and the engagement with social media, and the highlighting the student organizations, and increased reliance on a new DJ in concert with the band. I think the vibe, and a lot of our visitors have said that the vibe in the arena is really outstanding right now, and that's something we wanted to do, which was enhance the energy. Home court advantage, or home court, the sense you get about being at a real fun, exciting game, that's the takeaway that we want. Some days you win, some days you lose, but hopefully that that experience for the average fan, they can resonate with that energy we're trying to provide. But like I said, this is tip of the iceberg. I mean, I know we have other elements that we'd like to introduce. In fact, tonight I think we're doing a new intro basketball video for the Milwaukee game. Yeah. So it's little things like that that we're going to keep trying to refine what we're doing.
And the nice thing about it is you're open for any ideas out there, and that's great that you're on the message board and just saying, hey, if you got a great idea, share it with us. Not everybody can know every great idea.
Sure, I know we battle about a Twitter account and that kind of stuff, or Facebook. I generally don't do that. But
we're going to get them on Twitter, fans.
No, we're not. But going out on the Oakland message board, which is like a third party of really our ardent supporters that go out and converse about the Golden Grizzlies, the Horizon League, and everything about college athletics. I can't contain what I say in 144 characters. With a law degree,
that is true.
I'm kind of wordy, so I might as well go out where I can have some space and go out and say what I want to say, and hopefully, the fans like it, and we can have that level of engagement. But, ask any question on the Oakland message board, and I'm be sure to get to it in due time.
Yeah, you really do. There's no doubt about that. As you kind of move forward here, you've been here since August. What are some of the things in your mind that kind of stand out for you right now, and maybe some things that you look at for an opportunity for Oakland to continue to move to that top 10 in their classification?
Well, I think behind the scenes, one thing that the average fan won't see is that our commitment to the student-athlete experience. We just are about to release with 360 a partnership that's going to really be an engagement tool with our student athletes to help them with all the issues and as they go through their experience here being an Oakland student athlete. Things like depression or like maximum performance or nutrition. They're going to have virtual instantaneous access to get the best knowledge on these different topics. You combine that with bringing in 2 speakers. We're bringing in another speaker in the spring. We have that award show that we're trying to uptick. We're trying to get some really creative video around all these things. We're doing that with student-athlete experience in mind. And our student-athletes, the Student-Athlete Advisory Committee is very, very focused, very engaged with what we're trying to do. And I consider them to be one of the boards that I need to report and make sure that they're comfortable with the direction of the athletic department. So I'm very happy with that. And that might not be, we could talk about the athletic championships or the 3.21 GPA and the academics and the Wear the Bear campaign and the increased fundraising and the February 21 event that's coming with Chris Chelios and Herman Moore and all these different things that are going on. But at the core, what's going to make the difference with our student athletes is their experience, and we're really focused on that right now.
And talking about that award show, it'll be April 20th. We're still trying to find out what kind of venue, but we're certainly going to invite all our fans and constituents to come to that celebration, because that's really what it is, a celebration of our great student athletes here at Oakland University. Finally, the vote for the court. We're winding down. Yeah. We're winding down. January 31st is the deadline to get your vote in. It seems like the Blacktop and Classic are the 2 front runners. Talk a little bit about that and the fans being involved and getting over 8,000 votes for that. It's pretty impressive.
It is very impressive. That's outside of our wildest imagination, that kind of response. But it seems like those two separated from our third option, which was the contemporary court. So those fans of the contemporary court, I don't know, you got a lot of work to make up. I mean, here.
They do have some time. So.
Yeah. But, about a week and a half?
They got a week. Yeah.
So January 31st, we're going to close the voting, and whatever court ends up as the majority rules is what the new look is going to be. Yeah. And we needed to. the interesting thing is we needed to redo our surface anyway, so this was a way to kind of get it creative, get the fan input, and do something we need to do anyway, and make it all work as one. And you know, the majority wins. That's democracy.
Majority wins, and that will be announced at February 15th when Oakland hosts Detroit here. Everyone will be there, as I know. That's a big rivalry. Talk a little bit. We'll end with that rivalry, the Metro Series.
Yeah.
It's right now. We are about halfway through. What has been your experience just early on with this rivalry, and how have both teams kind of, because it seems like the other student athletes have really gotten involved. Last year it was like a lot basketball oriented, but this year it really seems like the soccer's really got pumped up, and you know, all these other sports that are competing, cross country, track, you know, we still have the spring sports. It seems like everyone has taken ownership of this rivalry.
Yeah, it's almost like a frenemy relationship with Detroit Mercy. You know, I have a lot of respect for what they do and their history, and Robert's doing a good job trying to lead them to their aspirations. But that said, they are, you know, by virtue of their location, by virtue of not being in the same conference, by virtue of, you know, some dynamics between the two schools, public versus private, metro versus city. There's a lot of interplay between the two schools that leads to a great rivalry, and it's just another one of those measuring sticks as an athletic department where you get real-time data as to where you sit relative to your competition. And you know, we wish them all the best. The best rivalries are the ones where everybody's competing in the top 2 or 3, because then you're driving interest, you have very competitive games, and that's what we feel we're going to have with Detroit moving forward. So, but so far so good on the rivalry. We've had increased interest from like corporate sponsors and individuals that want to get behind the rivalry and know exactly what an impact it can mean for Metro Detroit and the city of Detroit between the two schools. We're talking about venues. We're trying to enhance it and make it the thing in intercollegiate athletics in this area when you get outside the Power 5 conferences. And I think we're well on the way to doing that. Yeah,
and I think the media is really paying attention. So that wraps it up for this edition of Grizzly Bites. I appreciate Jeff Konya joining me. We look forward to another edition coming up soon, and go Oakland.
Absolutely. Go Golden Grizzlies. See you at the game.